In 1973, this is the site where the canal was started on July 4th, 1817, and that's one reason why they chose this particular site to build Erie Canal Village. It was owned by the city for many, many years, started by the Historic Rome Development Authority. Since 2002, it has been privately owned. We've seen a lot of changes over the years with visitors, what people are interested in, and now seems to be that paranormal experience is something that they have found interesting within the last 5 to 8 years here. You want more or less? You've got to tell me.
Let's start with the
buildings.
Yep.
Okay. The buildings that you'll see on the site here have all been moved here within a distance of about 50 miles. The oldest building was built in 1800. And these buildings were all brought here to represent and create any canal town that you would have found up and down the Erie Canal in the early 1800s. The one canal that we have is a section of the original canal. And then because that original canal was so successful, they went ahead and built the second canal, the improved or enlarged canal. You'll see a section of that also. And that's much deeper and much wider to accommodate more traffic. What has replaced that is now the barge canal system, but you can go down the road about 5 miles and then see a site of that. So the buildings have been brought in, as I said, within a distance of 50 miles, but as we have put them back here, they're used for what they were originally built for. Very interesting house, which is 1800. That is the structure that you would have found, that little salt box, the first one that would be built after people stopped building the log cabins locally in the late 1700s.
If you care to point out some stuff for you. Cool. Now, this is the canal boat, right?
Yep. You want to go inside or no? We'll go here. The canal boat was built to start operations in 1973. We have now taken it out of the water for this season. For 2011, new boats being built off-site, but you can still go aboard this boat, and we have a presentation here that has music, and someone explains the history of what it was like to travel on the canal and answer any questions that people have as well. The little building that you see right back here is a playhouse that came from where the site is now of Fort Stanwix, and it was built for a children's playhouse behind one of the large homes that was downtown. And so when they built the fort, they moved it here, and again, we use it as a children's playhouse. Large or improved canal. It was 70 feet wide and 7 feet deep. You can see that the level of the canal has been lowered, which we do through a historic structure here that was built in 1840, the waste weir, and that is the way we control the level of the water here on site. Story of the Erie Canal, but also the story about transportation. So we go further back before the canal was ever built with the history of Fort Bull, which was located down here at the other end of the property, and then we move ahead in time with the story about transportation, including railroads, which of course took over some of the business from the canals. Paranormal activity? Well, all kinds of things has happened. I've got that picture that I told you about that we got last August. There's, depending who the people are that come for the investigations, and I've been doing this for years. The reason I chose to start being involved with this is from an incident that happened to me down at Shule, which is the big Victorian house. And through all these, I've been here 18 years. My husband's been here 33 years, so we've heard all kinds of stories about things. And I didn't get involved very much until one day I was down there giving a tour, and there were it was a family, 2 adults and 2 very well-behaved children, and we were in the dining room, and all of a sudden the light behind me, the lamp, the top of that lamp came off and smashed behind me on the floor. And I said, well, I guess it's time to do a little investigation here.
Good time
and so, yeah, that's what started it. So, You know, different things have been found on the property and in the buildings, and you know, different readings have been done with equipment. So it depends, you know, when you're here, what day you're here. You know, there's been visitors that have come up before, and they've shown me they were visiting, especially at Halloween, because we do the wagon rides in the evening, and they'd come up and say, "Oh my goodness, look at this picture! You know, this is what we have. I can't believe it." Yeah. We've had one lady that came over the bridge, and she came and she saw a face in the tavern, and she was so frightened. She went right back over, running back over the bridge and out to the gift shop. And she said she would never come back here again because of what she saw in the window. There was a face. So that's, you know, lots of different things.
So,
Bennett's Tavern, built in the 1850s. It came from nearby McConnellsville, New York. If anybody familiar with McConnellsville at all, Hardin Furniture, very small place, about 10 miles from here. So that was across from the railroad station. And again, we use this as a tavern today. Our railroad station came from McConnellsville as well. So those two buildings were both near one another. This today serves as it did. It was a bar on one side, a ladies' parlor. There were rooms upstairs. There, on the third floor was a dance floor, which we've used for dances as well. How much detail? Where do we want to go with some of this? You have to tell me. Staircase. And there's, some people can't walk up there if you're sensitive, you know, to what you see and feel in there. And the man kept saying, I see you, I see you. He said, Melody, I see you. I said, well, you know, obviously I'm here. He said, no, I see something. And it must have been my grandmother, because my grandmother used to go to this hotel for dances. And so that's the only thing that we can. Just follow me. Why me? I don't know. And haven't yet. You know, I don't see anything. I don't feel anything. I'm not sensitive, I guess.
That's okay. I'm a dead stick too. They come stomping up on me in order to get my attention.
Yeah, but other people have seen them. They've described them to me. More than one person has described the same person that follows me. So it's interesting. I don't know why. There hasn't been anything evil that we've ever seen or that anyone's reported. You know, everything that everyone has seen,
That's the best part.
has always been friendly. You know, the people that they see, the people that they sense and feel. There's never been a problem.
That's always good.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because we've been doing it for like going on 10 years now, and we've only encountered 2 negative things in all that time period. So the odds are much, much better that you have friendly people kicking around that you just can't see than anything else.
I don't know if you want to go inside, you know, certain buildings. Do you want to you're just getting a feel for the place today?
Getting the history, and then we'll come back through with all the equipment still out in the car. Okay. So we'll do the full investigation. We'll hit them building by building, and you just tell us where you don't want us to go.
Okay. The train station is right around the corner.
History and everything background on the building. You can sort of get a feel for it, so you won't end up looking over the also a bit darker. And all this footage can be used by you as anything as part of a small document.
Are you going to come back through here tonight? Then I'll leave some doors open. And the lock door, and then you're finished with particular building. You can just lock that.
Oh, wow.
Also, you can drive around. If you want to do that, you know, before you get your equipment out, if somebody wants to go, you know, later on, go to the car, drive around back here, and then you can park right there.
Oh, there you go. That make it handy.
That's awesome. I think we would have to carry applications somewhere.
All year one people.
railroad station built in the early 1900s, actually. It was, again, from McConnellsville, New York. There's been a lot of activity in and around the railroad station that other people have felt, sensed, and reported to me. Interesting building, and when you go in there, I'm sure that you will feel or sense something. Now, we don't have lights in these buildings.
That's okay. Everything we got is night vision and flashlights.
And it's used to, welcome our folks as they arrive and depart on the train that we have here. And what was interesting about the train station is there used to be rails in between the seats, and that prevented people from sleeping on the benches. But of course, the train stations were always busy places. A lot of joy, a lot of sadness, for different reasons.
What are some of the artifacts or?
Well, these are all just part of the displays. This is fairly common. But there's some railroad spikes in here, ticket punch, tickets, coins, buttons, trains, railroad certificates. All of that's in here. And of course you could send a telegraph from the railroad station. It was a very, very busy place in the town. And that's why the taverns and the hotels were always located right near the railroad stations. People would come into town on the trains, or they would come by stage to the taverns to get to the trains. So they were close by one another.
You said there's some activity in here as well, in addition to the pressure that we get when we go in this building. What is some of the stuff that's been captured or felt or experienced here?
People have found a lot of sadness in this building because of the people that have gone away. A lot of children, and so that could have been from wars, people off to war, people leaving, never coming back for various reasons. So there's a lot of feeling in this room. Barn, there's never been anything in there.
Period blacksmithing during the summer, right?
Yeah.
What do we have way out there?
That's an education building.
Okay.
Modern buildings that we use for storage. Museum, which is a collection of horse-drawn vehicles and carriages from the 19th century. Last August, when we had our Psychic Fair weekend, we actually captured an image by one of the visitors who just happened to walk in there and, shooting pictures, and saw something. So, and it was captured on the video, on the camera, and there was also something that was heard, walking down the stairs just before that, and that's from someone who didn't believe in anything.
That's always the best.
Yeah,
So
and
there's
so after
2
that,
floors in there then?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, but downstairs is what's open.
Okay.
A I'll open these doors for you too. And down the stairs is where this. The stairs was, well, different people see different things. So one was a face, one said it was a person. That's what came down the stairs.
So do you think it's something associated with the building? Something, some event or some person or something? Or is it associated